an amazing day. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my January reflections, my January personal reflections. Now, yes, I know it's mid-February and I am a little behind, but listen, we started this channel late. You guys have to work with me. I am doing my best to catch up. So if that's something that you want to hear about my month of January, stay tuned. So one of the things that I love to do every month, every quarter, semi-annually, like, halfway through the year and at the end of the year, I just love to sort of evaluate my life, right? And so this is a quick way that I just kind of stay in tune with some basic things that I'm finding enjoyable and some things that are my favorite each month, and then some like really simple improvements. Now, I will say this before I get into my personal reflections that I'm sharing with you here today. I have a whole list of annual goals, right? And what I do is I break them down into my personal goals and business goals. And then in my personal goals, I have spiritual goals, physical goals, social goals, financial goals. I have it all broken down. So this is by no means my huge goal reflection for the year, but just some personal reflections per month that I want to share with you on today. So let's jump right into it. I break it down into 3 categories, and I picked this up somewhere online quite some time ago. I wish I could really give the person, the credit, but it is pretty basic. But my monthly favorites, my most memorable moments, and then things I want to improve on, right? On a personal, kind of simple level, right? So I have my notes here. That's why I'm looking down. So my monthly favorites, number 1, my favorite movie of the month. So my favorite movie for the month of January was the show called Unprisoned, which starred Kerry Washington, which Kerry Washington was the star of Scandal for many, many seasons. Now, I have 2 adult nieces. They are 43 and 40. And so what we began to do at the end of last year is, and part of last year, but we kind of culminated our little book, our book and show little meetings, right? And so this is just a great way for me to stay connected with my nieces. They are not here. I live in Virginia. They're in Connecticut. And so what we do is we'll pick a show that we're all going to binge watch, and we'll also pick a book that we're all going to read. And then we'll get on a Zoom call, usually every other week, and we'll discuss those things. And this has just been a great way for me to stay connected to my nieces and know what's going on in their life and to have some fun and, for them to share with me and for me to share with them. And so we watch the movie, episode, show, whatever, Unprisoned on Hulu, starring Kerry Washington. And so what is pretty interesting about this movie is Kerry Washington, she plays the role of a woman, right, who is a therapist. But during her childhood, she had a traumatic childhood, if you will. Her father was in prison most of her life. Her mother abandoned her, and she was raised by a foster mom and also her dad's girlfriend at the time, right? So fast forward, she's an adult with a teenage son. She's a single mom, and her dad gets out of prison, and she goes and picks up her dad from prison and allows him to come and live with her. And so it just goes through all of the dynamics of, sort of those dysfunctional childhood situations and how they sort of manifest in adult life. And it shows how she rekindled her relationship with her dad, how her dad connected with her son, and then the interesting dynamics of her father, who probably was in his late 50s. I'm going to guess maybe in his late 50s in this movie, trying to come out as a felon and regain his life. And it had some really, really good life lessons as she had to sort of reflect on her own, traumas and challenges and how she was dealing with them as an adult woman in her relationships and as a parent. Highly suggested. One of my nieces recommended it, and so we watched that in the month of January on Hulu. So check it out. It's called Unprisoned. Now, after watching that show, it parlayed us into read Kerry Washington's latest memoir that just came out called Thicker Than Water, right? And my daughter actually saw Kerry Washington last year at her college. She came to promote her book. And so we've been reading, and we have not completed this book, but I just wanted to share with you, that's what I was reading in January, and I'm still reading. We're going to finish up this week for our call. But, so we were able to kind of, see her in a different role outside of Scandal. And then now we're also reading about her life, right? In her memoir. And so I'm going to hold my commentary for the book. Thus far, overall, we like the book. We like the book, but I'm going to come back when I do my February recap or my February reflections about this book. So I'll put it as a favorite. And also on my own, what I have been reading, but this is really a true favorite. It's a nonfiction. You guys know I'm a life coach and I love self-help. And I'm also, trying to get out of reading so much self-help. Hence, reading more fiction with my nieces and things of that nature, just to lighten it up, right? But this book called How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. And I talked about this on Facebook and shared that if you, sidebar, right? But if you have never been to therapy, never been to counseling, and when people talk about the work, right? Doing the work on your, inner healing or some of your traumatic challenges or childhood challenges or things that you've dealt with as an adult, and you're wondering what that looks like, and perhaps maybe you've never had therapy or counseling, I highly recommend this book. It is phenomenal in how it breaks down our childhood and things that we can be dealing with as an adult. And I love and I don't want to get off focus, but I love anything about human behavior, and this is top notch. So definitely one of the favorites. And okay, another area is sips, drink, or food is kind of what I have on my reflections. And I didn't come up with anything for January. I didn't do anything special in terms of food, sips. I know in December, it was all about the peppermint mocha from Starbucks. I can't tell you how much money I spent in December on peppermint mochas. But for January, it was nothing that particularly stood out for me in that category, so I did not put anything. In terms of home reflections or favorites at home, well, I had my daughter home from December to midway January. She went back to college, and so that was bittersweet, right? Having your college sophomore head on back to college. So in the area of home, I'm going to just put, was my favorite part of that was just having her here, the first couple of weeks of January, sort of post holiday season, where we just got to relax, kick back, if you will, and help her prepare to go back to school. So that's always a good thing. Bittersweet, right? Good thing in one way and sort of missing her. Okay, so memorable moments. I had a lot of fun in January, right? So the first thing is I'm an administrator on a board of a not-for-profit organization that has been founded by one of my great friends, Bianca Thomas, Women Ablaze International Ministries. And so during the course of 2023, she held her first prophetic and inner healing training for the entire year. And so it culminated with a graduation in January. And so it was such an awesome blessing to see these men and women who have dedicated so much of their time into learning more about their spiritual gifts, learning more about being a disciple of Christ, and, just in the preparation, being a board member for that event and partaking and emceeing that event was phenomenal. So just excited. Kudos to her and her work in ministry for decades, right? And God is continuing to expand her territory. And I'm just going to give her a shout out, Bianca Thomas of Women Ablaze International Ministries. The second thing is I had a family member who had a birthday, and we celebrated a couple of birthday functions and dinners and things of that nature. And so that was a lot of fun. And then thirdly, my grandson, who is 4 years old, lost his first tooth. Okay, right at the bottom, cute as a button. You'll see at some point me have him around, but his name is Blaze, right? And Blaze lost his first tooth. So those are some awesome, memorable moments and personal reflections from January. Now, another highlight of January was a day that we had that was 77 degrees. Think about that for a moment. I live in Virginia, and you know, our winters are pretty mild here, but I'm originally from Connecticut, right? But I've been here for quite some time. But I like, as you will find out, all things warm weather. I am holding on dearly right now for spring and summer to hit. I cannot wait. And so there was a day where it was 77 degrees. Listen, I was off. I was driving. I had the sunroof open and I went to get some ice cream. You'll find that too. I love ice cream. Had a great day. It was beautiful. A nice tease because we went back to the cold weather, but that was a great moment to have in January for me, 77 degree weather. So in addition, I was able to meet up with a girlfriend. We had coffee at the beginning of January, and we hadn't really actually seen each other in person in wow, probably 4 or 5 years, I think. And so we're able to meet and spend a couple of hours together over coffee, catching up with life. And that was just amazing, just amazing. And it's such an important part of life, you know, just staying connected to family and friends. And that is definitely something that I learned, and I'm continuing to learn, right, in this season, because by nature, I'm an introvert. Just want you to know, I am definitely okay at just being at home, reading my books, doing my work, purpose work. I am, but it is important for us as individuals to stretch beyond our comfort zone and to go out. And of course, I love people, but I'm just saying where my natural tendencies can lie, right? And so it was great getting to see her, and then also, you know, just connecting at the graduation and birthdays that I was telling you about. So overall, January, what I learned was just continuing to stay connected to family and friends, and also to be a support to family and friends. And then last but not least, one of the things that I sort of think about in my personal reflections is what I want to improve for the next month, right? Just kind of superficially, something easy to focus on that's not mapped out in all the other goals and things that I have. And so for December to January, the goal was to decrease my Starbucks budget because I was out of control. Right now, I am a coffee drinker. I love Starbucks. I love the aesthetic of Starbucks, right? The environment. I love to go there and work and bring my laptop and have coffee and treats and things of that nature. But in December, I was totally out of control. Let me just tell you, every time I was passing the Starbucks, I was hitting that peppermint mocha, you know, and the price, they're like $5 or $6 easy, right? Let me see if I can pull up how many times I actually went in January. Hold on a second. Okay, so I went to Starbucks 14 times in January. Now listen. I know that sounds extreme, but you just have to know your girl, okay? So 14, think about it, out of 30 something days, you know, we're getting there, okay? Because I'm gonna be honest, everybody has their thing, and you know, coffee's my thing. And it would be nothing for me to roll through Starbucks twice a day, whether it's just coffee, whether it's a treat, you know, and drop, you know, 10, 12 bucks a day. So we're making progress. So in the month of, we're in February right now, I'm still working on that goal. So we'll be able to come back and, you know, reflect on February in terms of the Starbucks. But what I want to improve on and I'm working on in this month of February, and we're almost over, is I'm really restructuring all of my financial planning. That's been something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I'm in a different season and phase of my life, and how I'm managing between personal and business finances I want to change that. So I've been working on that and restructuring that this entire month of February. So I'll be able to come back to you at the end of the month as we talk about that. So that's what I'm working on for the month of February. So listen, do you do any type of personal reflections each month? Do you assess each month? Listen, I do it on a fun level. It just helps remind me to do things that are fun and enjoyable and to make memories. It's so easy to get stuck and stagnant in the humdrum of life and not be able to look back and see what we've done, what we've accomplished. And I don't mean it has to be like money-wise or professional, but just in terms of life, friends, and fun, and interests, right? And so I'd love to hear your comments below. Let me know, is that something that you do? Is it something that you'd be interested in? Let me know, do you like these type of videos? Because I'm sure next month I'll be a little more in depth for it, just from a content perspective for you. But let me know if it's something that you're interested in or not. So thanks for watching my personal reflections for the month of January. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification button so that you get all notifications of every future video. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.